remember when the insurance industry came out earlier this week and said, oh, you know what, we're going to work with President Obama, and what we're going to do is cut 1.5% per year for the next 10 years of our costs and save $2 trillion in healthcare costs. Well, that sounded fantastic, didn't it? Okay, so I'm on board for that. In fact, we did it on the show, and I gave them a world of credit. I said, look, you got to look at the bottom line. If they're part of the solution, it's a smart political move for them, and it winds up saving us $2 trillion. Now, call me a sucker, because of course they didn't mean it. Now, later in the week, they come out with a statement saying, did we say 1.5% per year? Did we say $2 trillion? No, we're not really going to do that. Okay. Now, let me give you the quote from earlier in the week that they put out, and then I'll give you the quote they're putting out today, just so we're clear. You take it from their words, not my words. By reducing the rate of growth in healthcare spending by 1.5% each year, said earlier in the week, the nation can achieve a saving of $2 trillion over the next decade. This effort will have a direct effect on the budgets of individuals and families and will also go a long way in ensuring that every American have access to affordable, high-quality health care. Stay tuned for more information on this important initiative in the weeks and months ahead. Now, they put this out through their main lobby group. Okay, so it's not the government saying that, it's the healthcare lobby saying that. 1.5% per year, each year for 10 years, save $2 trillion. Very proud of it. They say, stay tuned for more information. Well, here's the new information. Here's what they put out today. They say, he and other healthcare executives said they have agreed to squeeze health spending so the annual rate of growth would eventually be 1.5 percentage points lower. Continuing. One of the lobbyists, Karen Ignani, president of America's Health Insurance Plans, that's the major lobby we're talking about here, said the savings would, quote, ramp up gradually to as the growth of health spending slowed. David Nexon, Senior Executive Vice President of Advanced Medical Technology Association, a trade group for makers of medical devices, said there was, quote, no specific understanding of when lower growth rate would be achieved. He said, quote, it's a target over a 10-year period. Do you understand what that means? That means they ain't cutting anything. Okay? They're like, oh, yeah, it's kind of a target. We might get to cut 1.5% maybe at the end of 10 years. In other words, they're not going to do it. It's a backpedal. They got their nice PR moment. TV covered it. Now, is TV going to cover it as much now when they backpedal out of it? No, they're not. And so they get the PR benefit out of it. They got the Obama administration to say, hey, good job, you're going to play ball. They don't even wait a couple of weeks or a couple of months. At the end of the week, they're like, yeah, we were obviously lying. Okay, us cut costs? We're not going to cut. What you call costs is what we call profit. Of course we're not going to cut that. So, yeah, eventually maybe we might cut something 10 years from now. Look, here's the reality of the matter. If you're waiting and holding your breath for the healthcare industry to fix itself so they make less money, you're an utter fool. That's not how capitalism works. Now, I don't have a problem with the healthcare industry because they give us healthcare, and I get the value of it, but I also believe in capitalism, unlike, ironically, Republicans. I think introduce competition into it. So there's an initiative now going through Congress saying we should have public health care, meaning, look, all it is an option. We're not going to force anybody to do it, but this public health care option is going to not do advertising, not take on the extra costs, not try to make a profit, and then we're going to give that as an option, and they're going to be able to use the power of the government to get lower prices for people. And if people like those lower prices and they want to go with that public health care option, then that's what they'll go with. But maybe the service won't be as good. Maybe these guys will be right. Maybe there'll be a good reason to stick with the private health care. Let's do a little bit of competition and see how it works out for you. And of course, the healthcare lobby hates that. They don't want any competition. And what they had said to Obama earlier in the week is, look, we'll cut the $2 trillion as long as, wink and a nod, you really take our opinion seriously on not doing the public health care option. Well, now that it turns out they're absolute liars, I would hope that Obama would think, you know what? Well, maybe that public health care option looks better and better every day. and let's give the American people a choice and see what they like. It's the most sensible thing in the whole wide world. If Republicans were actually conservatives and actually believed in what they said, they'd love that option. You know who else would like that option? I'd like it. You know why? Healthcare costs way too much money, and I'd like to have the option of paying less. Call me crazy. But you know what the Republicans will do? They get out there, they'll argue. They'll be like, no, we should pay more. That's freedom. Okay, I'm not sure I get that logic. But yeah, I'm not sure I get the logic of a lot of Republican thought.